The man who trained Mike Tyson and Larry Holmes survived horror ice pick attack, then Sylvester Stallone hired him on Rocky films. It was once said of Richie Giachetti that if he and the great Larry Holmes had ever fought in a barroom, it would be Giachetti, and not Holmes, who would have remained on his feet. "Swear to God, I didn't know the guy," Giachetti once started when explaining the existence of a scar from the inside corner of his left eye to just below his cheek. "He comes over, takes a glass and shoves it into my face. I hit him. Then he pulls a knife and tries to stick me. Somehow, I got hold of the knife and stuck him 3 times. Giachetti then spent 7 hours in surgery, receiving 78 stitches and being fortunate not to lose the sight in that eye. When he came round, he also learned that his assailant had died. The fight had started when someone walked into the bar Giachetti was drinking in, asked for the toughest guy present, and another there drinking then pointed in his direction. The cop spoke to witnesses and decided it was justifiable, he said. He had also previously nearly died when, after sticking up for some friends in another bar in Cleveland, an ice pick went narrowly underneath his heart after being forced into his chest. It was in 1972 when, having moved on from running bars, stock car racing and being an enforcer for those on the fringes of the Cleveland underworld, he was introduced to none other than the then little-known Don King. Recently released from prison for manslaughter and on the verge of overseeing his first promotion, King, like Giachetti, detected in him roots from the same world. "I started King in the business and knew him when he had normal hair," Giachetti once said. "I worked one day in the coal mines and it wasn't for me. I was good with my hands and that helped. I was sort of an enforcer for Babe Triscaro's truck drivers in Cleveland. A good fight is a good fight." In the year after the start of his association with King, Giachetti first started working with Holmes, who, in the absence of the Olympic gold medal that had done so much to enhance the reputations of his predecessors George Foreman, Joe Frazier and Cassius Clay, was getting little recognition. Upon turning professional, there were times the heavyweight would fight for a purse of only $150. He and Giachetti would therefore have to find food and accommodation that was similarly cheap. Over the following 5 years, trained and managed by Giachetti, Holmes would establish himself not only as the world's finest heavyweight but, in the years that followed, as one of the very finest of all time. Giachetti remained by his side until 1981, when he was suddenly, unexpectedly and dramatically sacked. 6 conversations between Giachetti, Holmes and King, under investigation by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, had been recorded by Giachetti, which after they had been subpoenaed Holmes had learned of and heard.